Question number 12 seems to be all about transformations, and in part A we're asked to reflect the shape in the line M. Pretty simple reflection, this one. You could use tracing paper, so what I've done is I've pre-prepared a bit of tracing paper and drawn the shape over the original shape. As you should notice that I have drawn the entire mirror line in, the line of reflection, and just line that up as much as I can. There we go. So all we're going to have to do is flip that image in the mirror line. That's basically what a reflection is. So if I was to do that, I'm just going to flip the image and then line that mirror line up with the original, and I'm just going to draw the shape in. So you press through really firmly with a nice sharp pencil, and underneath you'll draw the line. So if I just quickly go and draw that shape on the underneath, obviously you'll have to move your tracing paper to draw yours, and then I'm going to move that away. I have got the shape drawn. Nice and simple. Part B asks us to enlarge the triangle with a centre of P, with the centre P, and a scale factor of 1/2. So basically, when you do these enlargements, you have to think about how many times bigger the shape is going to be. And the scale factor is the thing that tells us how many times bigger. It's 1/2 as many times bigger. So it's actually not bigger at all. It's going to be smaller, half the size, in fact. All right, that's what that tells us. And center P is where the enlargement occurs from. So if we employ this method of counting the number of squares it takes to get us to a point on this shape. Now the easiest way to do it is to go 1, 2, 3, 4 across to get to the bottom of this triangle. If we were 4 across, we need to half that distance, and half of 4 is 2. So we're going to go 2 across to start our enlargement. So the equivalent point, so if we call that point A, for example, all right, then we could call that point A1. All right, that's our enlargement. We don't have to do that. I'm just showing you that that's the equivalent point to this one. It's half the distance from point P than it was because of the scale factor. Now we have to enlarge the shape, all right, by the scale factor of 1/2. So if we were to have gone 4 up here to maybe point B, okay, we could then go up 2 because 1/2 of 4 is 2. So, get a nice pencil and a ruler, and then we can label that one point B1 just for your reference here, and then across 2 squares here to get to point C would be across 1 square, because 1/2 of 2 is 1. So that'll get us to point C1, and then we could just join point C and point A together. Obviously do that with a ruler and a pencil, and that's the size it needs to be, and that's the position it needs to be, and that's what you're getting 2 marks for. Okay, right. The third part to this question is C. All right, and we've got 2 flags, and the 2 flags are exactly the same. F has rotated onto flag G, so you've already been told that it's rotated, so that's good. We need to fully describe the rotation. So a way of doing that is a bit of a faff, but we can use tracing paper. And I'm just going to bring in the piece of tracing paper that I've made for this question. All right, I've drawn the shape over the top again as much as I possibly can get it as accurate as possible, and it's rotated. We should be able to see, because this point is now facing upwards instead of to the left, we can see that it's rotated 90 degrees. That should be fairly obvious. It's just where it's rotated from is the issue. So we have to find that point. Now I'm going to mark where I think it's rotated from, and you probably would think the same. I'd imagine intuitively you'd go, yeah, I think it's probably rotated from there. Right? That's what it looks like. It's rotated around that space. Just check it using the tracing paper. I'm just going to rotate this in a 90 degrees clockwise manner, and then see if that point where I'd labelled it at 3-1, it is the same place, and it does land on there. Now you would do this by putting the pencil on the mark where you think it rotates around, and just do the rotation using the pivot point and spinning that piece of tracing paper around however many degrees you need to. In this case, it was 90 degrees clockwise direction from 3, 1. So that's the word you're going to write down. 90 degrees clockwise from the coordinate 3, 1. It's important that you have this information and this information. This gets you 1 mark, this gets you 2. If it didn't say it was a rotation already, you'd have to state it was a rotation. But in the question, it already said it. So there you go.